staging area. Program. gas. Your attention in the pits. Pro gas. Pro gas. We need you to take elimination. Pro drivers to your cars. Pro drivers to your cars. Pro ET drivers to your cars, please. Pro gas. We need you to... This is a time run. Now, Corvette, this is a time run. Pro driver.
But one weekend each spring, this peaceful valley becomes Thunder Valley, to the crackling thunder of thousands of horsepower unleashed in the hands of the world's fastest drivers. In top fuel, two-time and defending IHRA World Champion Gene Snow, the Ohio-based computer-assisted top fueler of Jim Head, and surprise Winter Nationals winner Pat Dakin. In Nitro Funny Cars, defending IHRA World Champion Ed the Ace McCullough. From California, the tiny but potent Pontiac of Tim Gross. And second-generation drag racer Scott Coletta with his 4,000 horsepower Oldsmobile. In Alcohol Funny Car, Ohio dairy farmer Mark Thomas brings his milk-fed Chevrolet. And from Missouri, veteran alcohol burner Greg Moss. We'll also look at the wild and wheel-standing modifieds. Check out night racing at Bristol and a rebirth of the beautiful bodies of the past. We're staged and ready. Stand by for IHRA action. Bristol International Dragway, the legendary Thunder Valley, nestled in the hills of northern Tennessee, today hosts the silver anniversary edition of the International Hot Rod Association Spring Nationals. Hello everyone, I'm Bob Barsha, welcoming you to Bristol and our continuing ESPN coverage of the best of IHRA drag racing. Today it's the 25th annual Spring Nationals, an event that over the years has been graced by some of the greatest names in the sport. Don Garlits, TV Tommy Ivo, Chris Karamessinis, and Ronnie Sox, to name just a few. With me to analyze this afternoon's activities are ESPN IHRA expert Ted Jones. And Ted, we've got a lot of drivers out here this weekend hoping to put their names in the book with the legends.
Indeed we do. Over 500 entries have come here to Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee. Some new names and some old names. Some of the old names, Gene the Snowman Snow, who ran back here at the first event in 1965. As a matter of fact, he won the Spring Nationals in 1970. Ed the Ace McCullough, the funny car pro, who's qualified #1. Then some of the new names, Ricky Smith, who came here as a spectator in 1965 and was just getting his North Carolina driver's license. Larry Morgan, who's qualified with his Castrol Pro Stocker, #1 in today's field.
It should be a great afternoon of drag racing, and covering the big end, of course, our old friend Brett Kepner.
Well, gentlemen, while this race has a phenomenal amount of history, the performance marks here at the IHRA Spring Nationals have been simply incredible. In Top Fuel Eliminator qualifying, Gene Snow, the defending IHRA World Champion and one of the strongest racers ever to hit this particular track, tied the existing track elapsed time record at 5.11 seconds over 260 miles per hour. In Funny Car Eliminator, Ed the Ace McCullough, another defending world champion on the IHRA Tour, ran 5.45 seconds. That's a new track mark by almost 1/10 of a second, erasing one of the oldest track records on the books, a 4-year-old 555. In Pro Stock Eliminator, Larry Morgan in the Castrol GTX Oldsmobile of Bob Pinella from California ran 7.50 seconds to lead a field that is separated by only 1/10 of a second. And even in Pro Alcohol Funny Car, the incredible poverty-stricken Oldsmobile Cutlass of Pete Gallen ran 6.25 seconds to lead this incredible field, only 0.04 of a second away from a track record. Believe me when I tell you, the action is going to be incredible here at the 25th anniversary IHRA Spring Nationals. Back to you, gentlemen.
ESPN Speed World coverage of the 25th anniversary IHRA Spring Nationals is brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. The big Q stands for quality, always has, always will. By Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. And by Drag Review Magazine, all you need to know about drag racing. Quarterfinal action in Pro Stock staged and ready when we return to Bristol, Tennessee after this. Back at Bristol, Tennessee, where we're ready for quarterfinal action in Pro Stock. But first, we'd like to show you an upset in the first round as 4-time Pro Stock world champion Ricky Smith got beat, Ted.
Ricky Smith had a hole shot strapped on him by Terry Adams, something very unusual. Normally, Ricky was first off the line. This time, Terry beat him, even though Ricky's ET was quicker.
Well, that was a big one for you, Terry Adams. Beat the world champ 757 to his quicker 756.
Well, I knew the all-pro Pontiac D&L leasing car, it was going to be a tough run, and we had to take a gamble, and it paid off. So.
Well, it wasn't just a small hole shot either. You were way out in front of him.
Well, we needed a hole shot, and we'll get a grip on it.
Indeed they will. Now on to the quarterfinals, where young Terry Adams out of North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, took on John Noble out of Melville, New York.
Well, Terry's on a real march after putting Ricky down. You can bet he's fired up for this one. Terry qualified 15th in this race, and so he wasn't supposed to get beyond first round. Noble, on the other hand, qualified in the 10th position and should be the favorite winner in this matchup.
We might point out that Ricky Smith is not only the defending world champion, but he was the second qualifier in his field. So the car's working well for Ricky, but he just hadn't been able to get it together thus far. Now it's Adams in the far lane against Noble in the near lane. Adams has one of only 2 mountain motors in this field with more than 600 cubic inches. He gets off the line well and gets about half a car length early on Noble. But I can't call that one, Ted.
I believe that John Noble has upset Terry Adams. The upsets continue to roll on. Let's take another look at them right now. They're side by side going straight down the course with no problem. They both grab high gear and strain for it. Let's take a look at the finish line and freeze them. Yes, John Noble.
That was a drag race, and here's Brett Kepner.
John, this is turning into a battle of upsets already. We saw Terry Adams beat world champ Ricky Smith in the first round. Now you beat the guy who beats the world champ, 58 to a 63.
Oh, God. I don't know what to say. Jerry Haas car and Bob Ingles more than, I don't know, I'm doing my best, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, this is only what, your first real full year of Pro Stock racing.
Well, we ran a different car last year. This is definitely the first time. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
Well, we'll just see you in the next round, guy.
Okay, thank you.
And if John Noble keeps running like that, he better get used to talking to television. Our next matchup, we'll see Darrell Alderman out of Moorhead, Kentucky, going up against Mark Powick from Medina, Ohio.
Darrell Alderman, completely backed by Chrysler Corporation. They call him Mr. Dodge. On the other hand, Powick will be driving an Oldsmobile.
Quickly, they are away. It looks like Powick maybe got the whole shot there, but they are side by side as they pass half track. Let's see who gets it. I think Alderman, yes.
What a drag race. Once again, side by side. Let's take another look at it. Both of them straight off the line. They're right side by side, rushing down to the finish line. A perfect race. It goes right down to the wire.
And despite getting left at the line, it's the Dodge of Darrell Alderman that advances. Our third matchup will have Larry Morgan in the left lane out of Newark, Ohio, up against Joe Clark from Springfield, Virginia. Looked like Clark got away first, but the #1 qualifier, Morgan, looks like he's going to drive around, and he does.
Well, Larry Morgan wins it. Look at the reaction time of 0.83, first off the line, and held the lead all the way down.
And now our last matchup of Pro Stock quarterfinals. We'll see one of the most successful Pro Stock drivers of the last decade, Warren Johnson out of Duluth, Georgia, going up against the only other mountain motored car in the field, and it's Tim Neighbors out of Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Neighbors hot off that win down at Darlington. You can bet he's up, and he'd love to bump off WJ.
And they are away clean. Neighbors carries the wheels all the way to the end of the concrete launch pad. Warren Johnson just outside his right side window. Johnson.
What a drag race. Warren Johnson, an incredible 7:49. The crew's elated about that one. Taking another look at it, Warren Johnson right beside Neighbors. Now, the mountain motor of Neighbors should rule on top end, but Warren Johnson pulls out an incredible 184.
Everybody thought that the left-hand lane was going to be the better one before elimination started. What happened?
Well, the left-hand lane's got a few bumps in it, and we feel that real high-power cars like Tim's may have a slight disadvantage in that. You know, their big cubic inch thing may just get a little bit loose, and I felt that I moved on him a little bit when he hit the bumps.
And by virtue of his better elapsed time, Warren Johnson will have lane choice over John Noble in the semis. We'll see if he takes the right lane again. Larry Morgan will have lane choice against Darrell Alderman. We move on to quarterfinal action in alcohol funny cars, and these are fun to watch. We'll have Chuck Cheeseman in our first matchup, who was the number 5 qualifier in the field. He'll be up against Terry Mullins, the number 4 qualifier.
Well, Cheeseman very popular with the crowd because of that all-Chevrolet Corvette funny car based out of Columbus, Ohio. Mullins, on the other hand, driving out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Mullins is a former drag boat racer, and he gets a little sideways off the launch pad, but he stays in it and wins.
An easy win for Terry Mullins, a 6:29, very respectable, Bob.
The second matchup is Don DeFluter racing out of Kent, Ohio, up against Greg Moss from Fenton, Missouri.
Well, Moss the boss could strap one on DeFluter here very easily, and he's out first.
The two are away quickly, but it's the left lane once again as Greg Moss pulls a couple of car lengths and beats Don DeFluter.
Greg Moss turns in a very respectable 6:27. Look at the speed, 221 miles per hour.
A close look at the blower on top of one of these 3,000 horsepower alcohol funny cars. Our third matchup, Mark Thomas, the dairy farmer from Louisville, Ohio, who gets the whole shot over Danny Nimmo and holds it to the end of the strip.
A great job for Mark Thomas. Look at the 6.30 for the Real Dairy Products car over Dan Nimmo.
Now let's go back to first round action and show you something very special. This is Peter Gallen out of Newton Square, Pennsylvania, one of only 2 sub-6-second alcohol funny cars in the world. In the first round, he matched up against young Scott Wise and absolutely blew him out of Thunder Valley. 6.221 seconds is a new track record for Peter Gallen.
Gotta hold the clutch in.
Well, Pete, I know you shut the engine off early on that run, but a 6:22 erases a track record 6:24 of Ace Manzo. What a ride in the heat of the day.
Yeah, it was a little skatey out there for us. Usually for first round, Rich usually goes a little soft on the card, so we get a handle on track conditions. Last night, it was loose, real loose, and we didn't want that to cost us a race, so Rich has got it calmed down. We don't have that many laps on this combination, so we're trying to sneak up on it. We're real happy with that.
With a track record in that first run, I guess he ought to be. Now back to quarterfinal action, where number 1 qualifier Peter Gallen in poverty-stricken is up against number 9 qualifier Phil Sebring. They are away. Looked like Sebring in the left lane got the whole shot, but look at Peter Gallen. Come on, he's already got a car length, and he extends it to the end of the strip.
Pete Gallen, look at the ET. There goes the track record again, a 6:21. He's hit it again. Peter Gallen in the Haviland Texaco Oldsmobile.
And so with that new track record, Gallen will have easy lane choice over Terry Mullins in semifinals of alcohol funny cars. Greg Moss will also have lane choice over Mark Thomas. We're going to take a quick time out here at Bristol, Tennessee, and when we return, we'll take a look at the latest rage in IHRA funny car action, nostalgia, the return of the muscle cars, and meet the original Diamond. If you've been following our IHRA telecasts here on ESPN, you know that the latest trend in IHRA drag racing is the return of the nostalgia car. Today's drag racing technology cloaked in the beautiful bodies of yesterday. For a look at the newest member of the fleet of nostalgia cars, here's Brett Kepner.
At the season-opening Winter Nationals in Darlington, South Carolina, Tom the Mongoose McEwen debuted his one-of-a-kind 1957 Chevy Bel Air nitro-burning funny car. With IHRA's new rules that allow virtually any year body to compete, another driver decided to pick up on this incredible nostalgia craze with the supercharged nitro-burning floppers. Diamond Dave Miller, a longtime Top Fuel dragster campaigner, the IHRA Trail decided to create a Ford counterpart to McEwen's Chevrolet, a 1955 Ford Thunderbird that is another absolute masterpiece. apiece. Well, this machine has already made its maiden voyages at this particular event, and although it didn't qualify, the response from the media and the fans was incredible. You're anticipating that same kind of response when you line up against McEwen somewhere down the line?
Oh, most definitely. I'm not displeased at all of our showmanship this weekend. We put this car together finally a week ago and made one run. This week we made 3 runs, and I went from running nothing a week ago, or let's put it 8 days ago now, to running 670. I have never sat in a funny car in my life until today, or this weekend.
And there are more and more of these nostalgia cars coming online in IHRA drag racing. Check out an IHRA weekend near you and see them for yourself. They are really something. Time now for quarterfinal action in Nitro Funny Car, and this first matchup should be a good one. Tim Gross out of Saugus, California, in the only Pontiac Grand Prix funny car you're ever likely to see, at least not this year. He will be up against D.A. Santucci from Glen Willard, Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh, and Brett Kepner talked to him.
Well, at this particular track, the tuning advantage certainly comes in, but the starting line here this weekend seems like it's better than it's ever been. Are you going to be able to really lean on the Black Magic Ford?
Matter of fact, today that's what we're going to have to do. We got caught in the second round. We were a little bit lazy on it because we were banking on it wasn't, and I found Bristol to be about the best it's ever been this year.
And so the matchup of the late model Thunderbird and the brand new Pontiac Grand Prix. They are away, and Gross gets sideways. Santucci shuts off, but Tim Gross struggles to get his car back under control. What a ride!
What a driving job by Tim Gross. A 705 at 160, but look at the driving job he does. Let's take another look at this. You'll see Gross's clutch right there locks up, giving complete horsepower down to the track. Gross doesn't lift. He stays right in it. First to the left, then to the right, still standing in it. He will not lift. Meanwhile, it looks like Santucci went up in smoke and has shut it down. Let's take one more look at it now. Watch when that clutch locks up and delivers 3,000 horsepower down to the pavement. The pavement just can't hold it. What a driving job by Gross as he just stands in it all the way down to take the win.
Tim, that was one of the wildest rides you've taken in a long time. This thing was sideways all the way, 705 at 160.
You know, obviously, what happened was when I locked my first stage up, probably about 200-foot mark, it spun the tire real bad, and simultaneously it started to shake pretty good too. And when it turned on me, I noticed